Hey, it's your best girl, Chris, and welcome back to another episode of Anime Reviews with a special collaboration with What You Talk About Reviews, because Zio and Lupinverse Pat don't have any episodes this week because of sports. So, just going to combine the Jingo with these anime reviews. So, starting off with SSSS Gridman. And it's a pseudo beach episode, so you know what that means. Random fan service shots or scenes of underage girls. Yes, it's going to be slightly one of those episodes. So, in this episode, the whole class goes out to ride rivers, pretty much. It's kind of a vacation, a school trip, and as such, as like I mentioned just before, very obviously positioned shots showing like suggestive poses, butts, breasts, I mean, at the start of the episode, just Akane just falls back onto like her huge pile of like garbage bags, and it's a very suggestive pose. So Trigger, I don't know what you're doing, but okay. I mean, it's a pseudo beach episode. You know how animes always have like the beach episode. Well, this one isn't at a beach, hence why it's a pseudo beach episode. And while it's a fun episode, it's an okayish episode. I do like when the kaiju appears in this episode. It's kind of a grand emergence, kind of like something you would see in like the Godzilla films when like Godzilla or one of the kaiju appear, and it's this very big moment. I did like that. The kaiju itself is a bit it's a bit meh, and we also got a new Gridman form, Buster Gridman with Boar, the short girl of Caliber's group, and overall, like I said, it's a fun but okayish episode. So on to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind. In this episode, we're introduced to the rest of Bucciarati's group. So you have Fugo, you have Norencia, you have Mista, and Abakio. I'm probably butchering the names, but you're introduced to those, and you are given a clear idea the personalities of each of them. Fugo is kind of like he's the simple, straightforward man. But, if you push him to the limits, he'll stab you in the face with a fork, as shown with Norencia. Norencia messes up a math equation, and Fugo just stabs him with a fork. Just like straight up stabs him with a fork, because knows Norencia is just messing with him. Norencia is the youngest. Well, technically, no, he's slightly older. He's 2 years older than Giorno. So he's almost the troublemaker of the group, the goof off. You have Fugo, the straight shooter, almost literally, because he uses a gun as a weapon, and his stand is Sex Pistols. So he's the straight shooter, and he has a obsession of like phobias and all that superstition. He's very superstitious, like the common like Japanese superstition of the number 4. So when 4 cakes get delivered, he says it's bad luck because there's 4 slices, and it's like they should have been more considerate and given us 5 slices, despite the fact there's only 4 of them there. And you have Abachio, who is just a douchebag. That's pretty much his character. Introduced Giorno. What does he do? He pees in a teacup, pours it, and he gives it to Giorno to drink. And Giorno does drink it, but he uses his stand to like absorb it, because he doesn't know what's in there. He knows there's something up with it because it smells weird. So, thinking it could possibly be poison, he turns one of his teeth into a type of jellyfish to absorb it all, so he doesn't actually drink it. And starting off for this, obviously part 1 and 2 of this fight, they are looking for Popo's treasure, because Bucciarati is the only one that knows where it is, and now the rest of the organization knows that Bucciarati knows where it is. So everyone is hunting them down, and they are attacked by a stand. So, pretty simple, pretty good episode. It pretty much is the episode where a lot of the memes, for at least for part 5, started. Like Fugo stabbing Narencia with a fork, and Giorno drinking the cup of piss. So a lot of those memes started there. A lot of the memes were very, apparent in this episode. It's where they came from. So it's good to see those scenes. So overall, another good episode. Now onto Kami no Kiba Jinga. The funny thing about this episode, not particularly a lot happens, but it is a good episode. So, the Watchdog have sent Emissary Rozan and Shijo to investigate Jinga. The Watchdog have learned that Jinga has the ability to turn horrors back into humans, and they want to see what Jinga is like. Should he be trusted with this power? How did this happen? And that's basically the episode. And it was a pretty good episode. It's mainly into this whole plot of kind of into the plot of like how Jinga has this power. But the main two parts of the episode I definitely enjoyed is one, pretty much the return of a character from that Jinga was originally from Goldstorm show. I'm not going to say it is, but considering a certain animal that's associated with that character appears in the episode, the fact that it's a woman, and also how she stands. She has a particularly a posture she takes when she stands. It's very clearly that character. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but it's very obvious if you've seen Goldstorm show and you know about Jinga. You obviously know who the character is. And then the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending. The ending was a huge shock. It came out of nowhere, and like I said, despite not a lot happening in this episode, it's a good episode. I really did like this episode, and throughout the episode there was this kind of Jinga and Rozan feel like they're being watched, and the music works well with that. Gives you the suspense that maybe there is something watching them, and it's wants you to elicit kind of like fear, worry that there is something there hidden. They can't see them, but they know something is there observing them from afar. It worked very well. So, good episode. And that's it for this anime reviews and collaboration with What You Talk About reviews. I'll see you all in the next one.